Scrapbookers, this is Katie Scott, and I just wanted to show you the finished page before we get started. So today we're going to be inspired by Carrie Eric's page that's in Get It Scrapped Story Play, and her page is, she's used a title that has 6 words, and she's put her page into 3 horizontal sections with a cluster, and she's just used 1 photo, but I've used 2. So you're going to want stuff to cluster over here and some letter stickers. And yeah, so if you want to go grab some supplies, you'll want 1 or 2 pictures and some things to cluster and a few embellishments and 3 pieces of paper. And you probably want to think about what is your 6-word story going to be, and then try to pick papers that relate to that theme. So on Carrie's page, her theme was art, and so her pages were, her papers looked like they were painted and they looked very artistic. My theme was about time, so I've used like the constellations, you know, because the world keeps spinning, and paper airplanes because I have a tendency to lose track of time, and then like a brick wall because, you know, the brick walls of deadlines. So that were, and I tried to find embellishments that had to do with clocks. Her embellishments had to do with, you know, they looked more artistic. So think about what your theme is going to be, and then try to pick papers and embellishments that are going to work with your theme. So go get your supplies, and then we'll get started. Hi Scrapbookers! Hi Scrapbookers! So this is Katie Scott, and today we're going to be making a page that's inspired by Carrie Eric's page in this month's story play at Get It Scrapped. And her page is one that has 3 horizontal, so it's divided into thirds as far as horizontal strips of paper. And then it has one of those titles where it's like 6 words to sum up your life. So my 6 words are going to be, always convinced I have more time. And these pictures are from Martha's Vineyard, where I have been almost missing the ferry since I was like 3 years old. Yeah. I'm like, I just always think I have more time, and I always want to, you know, do all the things that there are to do. So I'm using the kit, I think this was the #1 kit that I made, and if you remember, it had 2 parts to it. So one part really looks like Carrie's colors, and then the other, so that's going to be, oops, this part of the kit. Hold on. That's that part of the kit. Okay, so I made basically 1 kit, except with 2 different color schemes, so that I would be able to duplicate her page twice over, but in different ways. So this is the part that really looked like her color scheme. It was like a artsy pastel kind of a paint motif. So I'm just going to put that to the side, and then I'm going to use the part that, and I kind of had this in mind when I was putting together the kit, that I wanted to either talk about travel or talk about time. So I am going to use 3, I'm going to use, the first thing I want to do is take, so I've chosen my photos, and Carrie just used 1 photo on her layout. So if you just have 1, that's totally fine. I usually like to cram more stuff onto the page. And so these are my pages, and what I want to do is kind of invoke that theme of like time flies, and so it's also sort of why I chose this paper airplanes, because, you know, I'm a little flighty. I can be. Okay, so then I have that, and then I also thought, and I added this in after I made the kit, but this included a, it already divided the page up into 3, but then it included this. I'm not sure that I'm going to use that though. But those 2 I do like, and I think the colors work really well. This, it kind of works, but I'm not, I don't know. Oh, it also has me defined. That's kind of cute. I could use those two in conjunction. So that's a maybe. I like the grid paper. I also like this, like the stars, because the stars really talk about, you know, that's like the rotation of the earth. You know, it is. So those both have to do with time. So I like those two papers. And then let's just see what else I have. I also just have this measuring tape, but I think let's use, so I'm going to put these to the side. Just kind of a process of elimination here. And then if we used like this paper in the middle and that paper on the bottom, okay, so I'm thinking this is going to be my bottom layer. So each set is going to be 4 inches wide, 4 inches tall, right? So let's start cutting. And I'm not really sure which is my base paper. I like this one here because it's a little bit thicker than this. So I think that might be a good option for the bottom, although I don't know. I like the idea of having this as the top, especially because it includes July, and this these pictures are from July. So let's use that constellation paper as my base paper. That's a Dear Lizzie paper, and I actually, usually I would be like, oh, I don't know if I want to use that because I like it so much, but I actually bought a whole pack of it at the discount store, and what's pretty awesome about it is I have 25 sheets of that, so I can feel pretty liberal with using it. And I like it so much that I almost feel like I will be using it that many times. And so the next step is to cut, I'm going to cut this into 4 inches. And I have my guillotine cutter right near me. My sewing machine is not working. I'm so unhappy about that. And, you know, when I was on this trip, is that right? That's going to be... yeah, that's 4 inches. Somehow that doesn't look like it's going to work, but I think it's going to. And then let's use these photos. I really like that Me Defined, because I think that could be a great place for the title. Let's just cut this up and see what happens with this. Oh, ha! And there's even... there's stuff on the back too. What do you mean? Look at that. This is called Awesome, and I want to say it's We Are Memory Keepers. No, it's Simple Stories. So I usually have this issue of trying to incorporate like way too much on a page. Do you have that problem? You probably don't. I do. Okay, so there's one option. But then if I put my photos there, then I'm going to totally cover up that motif. So maybe this goes at the bottom, and then the flighty paper goes in the middle, perhaps. And that will give me some place to do some journaling too, because I want to use that 6-word title, but I'm also thinking, you know, I have a lot more to say. So my page could go something like this. I'm wondering which way I want the photos. I think maybe like this. I also think it would be neat to, and this isn't on Carrie's page, but to kind of incorporate this circle onto the whole page. I don't know if I can do that. I probably, I don't think I can. But I think it might be neat to kind of continue that somehow. I'm not exactly sure how, but if you've watched my videos before, you know, one thing I like to do is just to get going and to start making decisions, because that will really help me to, living on the edge, life on the edge. But we're not gonna, well, let's not use those. So we're just gonna put these to the side as well, and we'll use those later. One thing that Carrie did that I really loved, speaking of sewing machines, is she sewed the pages together. Unfortunately, my sewing machine is not working, so that's not going to be an option for me. Yeah, I'm not happy about that. So I am going to perhaps use like washi tape to go over those seams, or I might use, so that's one way to do it. There's another. The thing I kind of don't like about this one here is this has such a hard border and this doesn't. It almost feels a little naked, you know? So I'm not really sure those match as well as I would like them to. So I'm kind of rethinking these a little bit. Oh, see, that's why it's a really good idea to just start sticking things down, because then you don't have to keep thinking about it. Let's just think one more time on this. I also like the idea of using the brick wall, because I do, you know, time is like a brick wall. Let's try that. So again, I'm going to cut that at 4 inches. Yeah, it's weird, but I think I like it. I think I like that better. So let's just nail this down before I change my mind again. So I do my videos in real time, which means that they're going to be probably longer than a lot of the process videos that you watch, and less concise and less organized. But I've asked my viewers, and people tell me, scrapbookers comment and say that they do like the real-time videos. So the benefit to the real-time video is you can really scrap along with me, and also you can view me as, you know, I'm just somebody chatty sitting across the table from you at the crop, at the virtual crop, who's not taking up your table space or taking your stuff, but is just, you know, continuously chattering. And for somebody like me, I really like to hear the chatter as I'm working. I love to listen to podcasts as I work, whereas I don't necessarily like to listen to music as I work, but I like when I'm doing scrapbooking or I'm doing housework, I like to listen, like I love to listen to an organizing podcast as I'm doing housework. I don't know why, but I do. So, okay, so here we go with the 2 photos, and those might go straight up against the edge. Let me just take a look at Carrie's. And if you, I won't post her layout, but you can see her layout in Masterful Scrapbook Designs. Get It Scrapped Story Play. So, she's got her title kind of going underneath here. And I could do it kind of like this. She also uses a piece of vellum. I like that idea too. And you don't, when you're using somebody else's piece as inspiration, you don't have to do exactly what they've done, but it's a really nice jumping off place. Okay, so before we start on this, let's just let's cover up these seams, and I think that the easiest way to do that is to use some washi tape. So I'm going to use this, it's like a chevron, but it will point this way like time marches on, you know? You get that, right? So I want to use things that are really, that are advancing my story. Even if nobody else gets it, I get it, you know. So there we go with that one. I don't think I want to use the same one down here. Let's pick a different one. So I'm just getting into my washi tapes. And I do have one that has a bunch of numbers. I'm not sure that's what I want. What do we think about the numbers? And this is the part of my videos where I'm like, I wish you could talk back to me. I think it's too distracting. I think it's too much. So let's pull that away and pick something different. I also have, let's see, I've got some of this, it's by Seven Gypsies, and it is called washi paper. And I like the way that that's kind of a grid, and I think the colors work. So let's use that. And that's just to cover up those seams. And if I had a sewing machine, I would probably rather have used the sewing machine. I love to use my sewing machine. It is like insanely broken, and usually my husband will fix it for me. And this time he's like, I already tried to fix it. I guess when I was away on this trip, he was trying to sew something, or I think he did sew something. So I'm kind of like, are you sure you didn't break the sewing machine? But I want to say that I've used it since I've been back, but he says he didn't break it. But he also says he's not going to fix it, so I'm not so happy about that. But what can you do? Okay, so now we have our page divided up into 3. And so next step is to get these photos down. And I'm so funny because I never want to cover up like the cute. You've got to, though. You've got to just like go, I'm proceeding. Okay. So I'm wondering which way I want these photos. And I think I like them something like this. So that way you kind of get the idea, and it's not totally taking up the whole page. So let's nail those down before I change my mind again. And Carrie, she did use washi or vellum underneath, but I'm not sure I really want the vellum. Well, let's just try it, I guess. So what I want to do is probably cut it here. I want this to hang off a little bit, I think. Yeah, I'm going to cut it here and here. So I'm just making little lines with my thumbnail. And now I will cut it. And that's just going to give like another little layer of interest. So that's a good idea, Carrie. It is. Okay, so let's get those down. And because I'm putting photos over my vellum, I don't even have to worry about
making that match, or making the vellum like be adhered in a way that you can't see how it's adhered. Does that make sense? Yes. Yes, it does. Sure it does. Okay. I still have this question of, should it go like this or should it go like this? I think I'm going to put it actually with me on the top. And then what's going to happen is I can start my title over this photo, which I think is a little dark. So writing right over the photo is going to be fine. Okay. So my title, I think it might even start here, like always convinced. Carrie started her title right underneath her photo. So as I'm eliminating things from my kit, I'm just setting them to the side. I plan to make 4 pages from this kit. So I'm just putting those to the side so that I can keep using it. I also want to put a lot of clocks onto this page. So I've got clocks on this little sticker sheet. I have, so now I'm kind of like, I'm probably not going to use any of this. Well, I might, I don't know. Okay, things I want to use. I've got the little tags there. I've got something that says destination, kind of like that. I'm going to just tuck that in underneath. So now I just want to see if I can just add some different things, some different interest underneath. Just to start to create some layers. So in Carrie had like a project life card right about here. And I'm not sure I'm going to put it in the same place. So I'm just doing these like little process of eliminations. Like, nope, maybe. And I like this says rain check. That's pretty apt, right? So let's just cut that up. And I like this one, it says postage due, which really seems like, you know, oops, I'm late on that, you know. So there's a rain check. So I'm just starting my process of trying to add some visual interest here with the layers. Gonna work. I really don't want to cover up too many of those airplanes because I think they're so cute. Isn't that crazy? It's a little nuts, right? Alright, let's see if we can cram that underneath. So I still don't have, you know, my title placed. But it's all right. I love the way that it looks when somebody really layers up
on their pages, and I a lot of times set out to do it, and then I don't know why, but I just end up not doing it. So yeah, so that's my problem, or one of them. Okay, so I'm looking for something right under here, and I have a sticker sheet. I just want like one more little thing, I think. And this might, I think I'll place that later. So still doing just a little process of elimination and a process of maybes. So those are my maybes, and I really feel like I want something more substantial underneath this. Let's try this here. Or maybe not. I like that, but I don't love it. But I do like the way this color brings in the color on the ticket, which I don't think you can really see all that well. Okay, so I think I'm going to pull the bottom of this and pull it down. And we will get that stuff up there. Okay, so let's start nailing things down again. And I call this process pick it and stick it. Because if you keep moving things around, in my opinion, you're just going to slow yourself down. And so I still take a long time, in my opinion, with my layouts. Once upon a time, I finished layouts like in a half an hour. And now I really feel like it's an hour. Like pretty much it's going to be an hour every time. And that's just how it is lately for me. So there. It's just, that's how it is. I don't know. I guess in my 40s I'm slowing down. What are you going to do? Just go with it, right? And you don't have to be like in a race. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I got to be in a race. Like if I ever go to a crop, I do get that feeling. It's so weird, but I'm like, oh, gotta make the most amount of pages. And I guess I'm kind of getting over that because it doesn't seem like as much of a concern to me as it once was. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. But I used to be more concerned with getting things done in my scrapbooking more quickly. But I still do appreciate that a deadline really makes you hustle a little bit better. So I still like a deadline. Because if you have, like, it's got to be done by this time, then you're going to be less likely to be sweating all the details. So that's what I like about having a deadline. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that down, and I just want to make sure that's the same. Yep, it looks pretty good. And sometimes when I'm finished with my pages, I'm like, what on earth took so long? Seriously. Like, that should not have taken that long. But I guess it just does, and it's totally fine. So here we go. Let's see if we can get one more little doodad down here. Oh, somebody's car alarm is going off, and we checked it. I'm really afraid that, I don't think it's mine. So I'm gonna cut the top of this off. It's going off again, right? Okay, we gotta go check to see whose car alarm that is. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so on the theory of always thinking I have more time, a new thing for me to do today just arrived. So I do need to finish up this layout. So there's really like two stories here, and I'm just going to tell my story on this one, but there's this other story, like my daughter is kind of always annoyed with me because I'm always late and she's like, let's be on time. Whereas when I was a kid, my mother like never wore a watch, but she would be like, we would always be the first people, like way the first people there, like, you know, just so early that it was just obnoxiously early. She still does it. I mean, she'll just arrive if somebody's having a party. Like, she'll just arrive like 2 hours before the party. You know, when the hostess is still, and the hostess is usually me. And she's not like there to help. She's just there to socialize. And anyways, it's she'll arrive when like I still have my curlers in my hair, and so I always think it's more polite to be a little bit late, and you know, I just do. And also I have this little tendency of whatever I'm up to, I just want to keep doing. Usually, you know, if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I just want to keep doing it. So yeah, we have that difference in our personalities. So it's really funny that my daughter really has this thing where she doesn't want to be late, because also her brother is just typically late. And yeah, I guess I find excuses for my late, like my late seems like reasonable and legitimate, and then his late seems like you're just late. But I would guess my late probably isn't all that awesome either. But so she's always early. So when we were getting back onto the ferry, she's like, "Come on, let's go." Okay, so here's this little doodad here. This little tape. And the other thing Carrie Eric has done on her page, so we've got this whole cluster here. The title is going to go here. Then she's also got like a cluster of embellishments down here and also kind of up in this area. So I just want to put this down here. Just because I like how the colors tie in with the color on the ticket. And just to add a little interest, I'm just going to cut a little notch out of the end of this, like so. Ta-da. Okay. And then, let's just see if we can get that, a little bit of this color back up in there. Or I'm also thinking maybe instead of my embellishment cluster being here, I kind of want to put one over here. So I kind of think 1, 2, 3. So let me put that up there, and then just one more little notch over here. Okay. Now I'm thinking, before I get too much further with embellishments, now I'm thinking totally about my title. So I picked two, I always want to call these fonts, but they're just letter sticker sheets. And I think that what I would like to do is spell time with this big red font. So this is a font that I've used, or letter stickers that I've used so many times that I may not have a T. So let me see. And there are, like, I gotta say, there's more than one T, so that is a good thing. But I think that I've probably used them up. And if that is the case, then I'm gonna have to figure it. Okay, here's the T. Woohoo! Okay. So here's T for time. And not exactly sure where I want the time to go. Right? I'm not sure where the time goes. That's the problem. So I'm laying these down, but I'm not really, oh, I don't know if I have an E either. Another good question. I don't think I do. So I need, and I'm not sure if I have an I, but I was kind of intent on, I don't think I have an E. And sometimes, let's see if I can use a backwards 3. It's okay. I'm not thinking I love it. I'm not sure I want to use this after all, which is fine. It's fine to change your mind. It is. Just don't do too much of it. That's my advice. Don't spend your whole time. Yeah. See how this all works together? Where did the M go? So I just want to get that back on there. But I am really committed to, I would like to use up this, like, stash bust, this, these chipboard letters, because they really are, like, they're not very useful anymore because there's so many missing. But that's, you know, it's like a good ½ inch that it's taking up in my letter sticker drawer. So these are gonna go, but maybe not on this layout, but soon. So that being said, they always say that on all of the reality shows. With that said, now I will break your heart. No. With that said, I am going to pull in some letter stickers that I didn't put in this kit, but that are very handy and I've been using like crazy. So, yeah. Always convinced I have more time. How about always sure I have more time. Always. I'm just going to go right over the photo. And what I should really be doing is aligning it to the left of the photo. I really love this letter sticker sheet from Jenny Bolin. It's they're called Gray Skinny Alphas or Red Skinny Alphas, and they were put out in 2012, but I love them and they're new to me. So okay, so we want to spell always. And while I'm talking and making videos, I like to always sure I have more time. I like to write it out so that I can continue talking and making sense, or a little bit of sense anyways. So, and I'm not one to plan out too much where my letters are going to go. I know there's a lot of techniques to do that, but I don't know. Something about it makes me feel like, oh, that's too much planning for me and scrapbooking. You know, I always think I can wing it. Always. And a lot of times I can. So like the I have more time thing, I don't think being late is good. So I think you should be on time to things. But I also think that being fully immersed in what you're doing is totally cool. And I almost like, my son has ADHD, and sometimes when I'm reading all the symptoms, I'm like, well, maybe I have that. Because, you know, being late is one of the characteristics, and that is a characteristic of mine. But I've always kind of thought it was mainly as a rebellious thing against how my mom did it. You know, you never want to do it like your mom did, which is why, oh, that didn't work, did it? Which is why probably my daughter is always intent on being early. So, you know, I guess every other generation in my family will be on time or early, and the other set of generations, like my grandma was always late. So that's maybe why my mom was always early. I don't know. Like even in my grandmother's yearbook, it said something like she's always late. And my grandma Grace like practically raised me, I want to say. Like I was there a lot. Always sure I have more time. And this is the dock where you get the ferry back to New Bedford from Martha's Vineyard. And I had like almost missed the ferry. Like every single time I go to Martha's Vineyard, basically that happens. Like every time. Since I was a little tiny girl. Okay, that's my mother-in-law, and I need to go watch my father-in-law. He has Alzheimer's, and she's got to go up to the store. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back early. She didn't need me after all. Always sure I have more time. So I think I'm going to write, I have on one line. And I'm out of E's. So this is when I will, oh, there's one more E. So anyways, this dock is kind of like symbolic. This dock on Martha's Vineyard is very symbolic because my mother, you know, was there, and and then my daughter was there, and my grandmother, like we've all been to that same dock and to catch that same ferry, and we all have different habits. And mine is very consistent. It's like almost. And then I always make it though. I have to say that. Like I'm not so late that I don't make it. I always do make it, but it's always like a very exciting last couple of minutes on Martha's Vineyard. Always sure I have. And I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna put the I in red, and then no, I'm not. I was going to say I would put the I in red and then say I have more time, but then that doesn't make, does that make sense? I always sure I have more time. Do we like it in red? I don't think so. But I don't really think I like it in the in this color either. Grr. But I'm not going to change it, I don't think. I have colored these letters before, and it does kind of affect the way that they stick, and also it affects, yeah, I'm just not going to do it. So there. I have more time. So there's it's probably not like the greatest life philosophy to be always sure you have more time because, you know, there's that Monty Python. There's that Monty Python song like, you don't, you know, it's later than you think. Always sure I have more time. Maybe we want to write more not in red. Maybe that's going to be in. So on Carrie's page, the title was much more outstanding. And I think I like that about her page better than mine. But with the time element, I kind of don't want to spend more time making this like absolutely perfect. It's okay if it's not. Okay, so I guess we were having the problem with the E, right? So we'll take an F and we'll use that in place of an E. And we'll just add a little, we'll add the little tail in that bottom part of the E, and that will be no big deal. Always sure I have morph. I have morph. I have morphed myself into, no. I have more time. Let's see if a period will work in the place of that E. That looks very awkward. I don't think that works. Okay, so let's try an L right over the middle part of that E. And I think I like the way that looks a little bit better. And so I had initially wanted to use these letters. Let's just see, instead of the red, if that's going to work better. Although I do really like the idea of using the red, and maybe I should have left that red if this works. Maybe I'll switch it back, which I've been up to lately. I've been doing a lot of changing my mind, which I advise against. Okay, and I feel like if I do this, then I really need to put something under that time. Kind of hold it up so it's not like out there in the world all by its lonesome. Or maybe we'll just push it over this way. But I still feel like it needs a little piece of washi tape, like kind of under that top photo. Not a big piece, just a little something. How do we like that? It's okay. It's not awesome though. I don't love it. Okay. And we couldn't use the big red letters because I didn't have the right letters. Let's just look again. Okay, T. Let's try it anyways. So we were going to use the backwards 3. I'm really not sure I want to do this. And so my mother-in-law's car alarm, she lives next door, keeps going off. And my daughter is home from school for the 4th day in a row, but I'm making her go in with me when I tutor my son. So these have like a Christmas theme to them, which I wasn't really after. Yeah.
I don't know. What do we think? I think no. You're probably like, I think just finish. How about that? Yeah, I know. Okay. So let's go outside the kit one more time, and so we're gonna keep these in the kit, but I'm not gonna use them. And it's okay to go outside of the kit. I think I want, though, I like the idea of using a big red letter sticker, so I'm just gonna go into my letter sticker drawer and look. And, or I even like that orange, like this orange here. And I might have something, another, I don't think it's going to work either though. I also have these letters that need to be used up. But again, I don't have the T, I don't have the I have the M, I don't have the E. So let's just keep these letters with the other ones in this kit, and if I haven't used them, then I'm gonna get rid of them. Okay, that's my another little challenge to myself, because I have a set amount of space for letter stickers, and lately I've been feeling like I haven't been putting a dent in the stickers at all, and I would like to. So let's keep going here. And so now I'm just looking for that kind of orangey red color. I'm not sure if that's the right color. I also have like a glittery, I'm not sure I like that either. And the other thing I have a lot of is letters that are white that I could color any color. Oops, I even found some more of these ones. I wonder if these would color. Let's try that. So it's good to be in a little bit of a hurry over things, but not so much that you don't have time to experiment. So let's just see, because, you know, I have a little bit more time. I crack myself up. Okay, so let's get in here, and I don't really have a Copic marker that is orangey red, but I do have this. This doesn't look like much. It's called, oh, it's RO2, but I've used it before, and let's just use it on this Z, just to see if we like the color. I think I kind of do. I like it. I think it matches, it doesn't match this red, but I do have a little bit of orange up here too. So let's use that. And I'm just going to color these as they're on these sheets. So I need a T, an E. I'll just put them down here and move the Q's. T-I-M-E. So I need an I and an M. And I don't know where I think I got this Copic marker at a scrapbooking yard sale, and it's extra wide, and I probably would never have bought it if it was $7, and like, it's kind of an ugly color orange, but I use it a lot. I actually like the color orange a lot. It's one of my favorite colors. And my house has a lot of orange in it, which I think my best friend, who's a real estate agent, but also she used to do interior design, just really dislikes orange. And I love it, so there you go. But I like
The orange usually means change. So time is changing. It usually does. If you look at like self-help books, a lot of them are like have orange on the covers because like look at a Seth Godin book and I bet you he'll have some with orange on them. Okay. But I've always liked orange. It also like works well with my skin tone, so I wear a lot of orange. Okay. So they're always sure I have more time. And now I really do want to tell the story, but I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that because I haven't given myself a lot of room on the page. So I could kind of do it in this space here, right? And I could also do it down here. It's going to be a little bit harder to read, but I think that I do want to use this up here to tell my story, and after I've done that, we'll think about adding some more doodads and embellishments. So this is my story. I would love to have like a gray Sharpie, but I don't think I do have one handy, so I'm just going to use this blue. It's going to be, you know, less bold than the black, but I think it'll work fine with this here. And you know what might be fun? Now that we're thinking about it, where did these letters? So what if I, in these letters, kind of, I think Carrie did that on hers, and her page was about art. I'm just wondering, yeah, that will stick and it won't smudge. So I just tested that on the X, but I think that will work well with this and also give it kind of a personal touch. Oh. My other thought is ever since I was little and watched Bewitched, and she had that trick where like she could wiggle her nose and the whole world would stop, and then she could like get her housework done and, you know, do all the things she needed to do. Like even as a kid, I could see how that would be so useful. I've always wanted that trick. So I have two stories on this page. I'm not going to really tell too much of the story of how my daughter and I are different because I have a few more pictures where we're both still at this, like, the ferry, and I could tell that story with her pictures in it. But the two stories I want to tell, I guess, on this page are, yeah, like the macro story of how I just would love to have a little more time. So I guess I just delude myself into thinking that I do. And that I just enjoy so much when I'm fully immersed in an activity. Like that's my definition of fun. It could even be work. Like oftentimes at work, I'm a lawyer and my husband and I have a law office. And so sometimes, you know, I'll go in and see that like the filing hasn't been done for a really long time, and I'm really, at the office, I'm quite organized, and I think that filing is very important, and so I'll go in, and sometimes it's kind of like, people that have been there for a while know if I'm filing, it's a message that you people better get to doing this stuff. But I actually, so it usually starts out as like a huffy, like, you know, this needs to be done, and then I'll go about doing it, but I actually don't mind it because I get fully immersed in it, and if I'm fully immersed in something, then I think it's fun. Okay, so I've always wished for that bewitched trick of turning off the world so I can get all sorts of things done. And when I am traveling, I don't like to spend much time sleeping because I want to do and see it all. My idea of fun is when I'm totally immersed in whatever I'm doing. So often times I feel happy when I forget about the clock and time, and I just am. But this is a problem with deadlines and fairy schedules. Okay, and so then I also want to sort of tell, this is me, Martha's Vineyard. This is a familiar place and experience for me ever since I was a small child, small girl. I've been almost missing the ferry back from Martha's Vineyard to New Bedford. When I was 3, it was because I got the golden ring, or the brass ring, golden brass ring at the Flying Horses carousel. So when I was in elementary school and my brownie troop went, it was because Valerie and Katie Yared, or Katie Y, and Jennifer and I were giggling and having fun. When I was in college, it was because my Aunt Sally and I got to talking to her friends in the gingerbread houses,
And this time it was because I wanted to show Allison everything. You could really spend a month there and still not see everything. So, okay, so I have more to say, but I'll say it on another page. So let's go about finishing and doing a little bit of the other sentiment that I wanted was when we stayed here. We were staying with some friends, and so the husband was like, oh, she kind of said to Allison, like, is she one of those that's like always on the go? And Allison's like, oh, yes. Which I just thought was so funny because he totally nailed me, you know. And she was like, yeah. Yep, that would be my mom. That was just very funny. Like, they had this little understanding. Like, you know, I think maybe his wife was a little bit like that. And so the two of them were kind of commiserating that they had to put up with us. Yeah. Okay, so on Carrie's page, she had one of these Viewmasters. And I like that idea. Also, just like the idea of, and I think this is the same, I used that same Copic marker, and I had used it like on a different project. I think it'll work here. And it kind of looks like, you know, gears, clock gears, let's say. Let's see if we can put it here, maybe. Do we like it there? I don't think so. You said, no, we don't. We like it maybe under there, because that way there's more differentiation. And then let's maybe use a smaller one. Does that work? Kind of, sort of. Maybe not this color. I just like the idea of the gears. Like, so it doesn't all have to be clocks. And I'm going to do this bad thing where I am going to have like 4 places for embellishment. That's a no-no. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Okay, that's okay. So I haven't adhered those down at all, but they almost feel like they don't need to be, but they probably do. So let me get my sticky dots, my favorite way to adhere die cuts. And these you just put down, and then the dots are just going to stick to your die cut image. Isn't that cool? It's cool. Do we want this color instead? I don't know. I think so, maybe. I think that's just too much competing with the time there. Yeah? I don't know. So another fun thing to do is to have a bunch of die cuts, you know, all ready for you to use, even if you don't necessarily know what you're going to use them for. Okay, these I do want to kind of line up. And I'm not sure I'm going to use those. I think I could use them up there, but I'm not going to. Okay. it says TikTok, go! Which is often how I'm like, come on, let's go! So there's a little thing that says life experiences, and then remembering. Nope, that's not going to happen. But this little moments have a little clock in it. That's pretty cute. I don't know if that's going to work though. Not really. I'm trying to make it work like Tim Gunn. How about that show? Is that still on? That Project Runway? They should have Project Scrapbook Way. Project Scrap something. Okay, I feel like I need a circle down here. But I think I'm not. So like this one won't. I know there's 4 spaces for embellishment, which is against the rules. But here's Just in Time. That's a good one. Because it says it a couple times. But I don't really want to mess too much with these words. So, and that says Just in Time there, so I don't think that's going to work. I'm sure I'll be able to use that on another page. So we have this 1, 2, and then this is sort of a cluster. Let's, it'd be nice to have a little something right here. Another clock, maybe. Maybe an airplane. It could work. I'm not totally in love with the airplane, but let me just see if I had anything. I know. I know what I want. I do have some other clocks. I think they're Tim Holtz clocks. And where did they go? I thought I had them handy. See, this is what slows me down. Okay, but I'm thinking that the little clock face could go right here, and then I will call this done, because I think it's about done. Yeah. This could have been cute somewhere too. But let's call this done. I don't know where did, oh, I think I put it with the other part of this kit. Yes, I did. Okay. So these are little clocks. Cute, right? Yes, they're cute. Of course they are. These are also Jenny Bolin. I kind of like the, I think I do kind of like the airplanes, and I like them going that way. So I could, I think I'm going to be done. I almost want to put another clock on here, but I think no. But these clocks will get used on another page, I'm sure. So let's see. What else do we need to do? I think that the only thing that's kind of missing is something shiny. So we have a little something shiny up here, but we don't really have anything else shiny. So let's just see. I just want a little doodad or something to
I should have pulled more doodads for this kit, which I didn't. I pulled these and I kind of feel like it's not enough, but I'm going to call it enough. It's enough. This is enough. So this is the page. Ta-da! Yeah. Okay. That's all. So that's my layout that was inspired by Carrie Eric's layout in Get It Scrapped Story Play, and that was using a kit that was inspired by Story Play, but these colors weren't in this part of the kit wasn't. So this is kind of like I had the page in mind that I wanted to use, or the page layout in mind, and then made a little kit that way. So we're going to make one more layout with this part of the kit, but that will come on another day. So thank you for watching. I'm Katie Scott. I'll talk to you later.